Buongiorno! So it's our last day today. We head back to home in Malta. However, we're still in Mazzara del Vallo. The ferry is past 9 tonight, so we still have the whole day to us. So we're gonna obviously head back to the ferry and hopefully have the opportunity to visit some nice places on the way. Let's see how the day develops. So off we go. Ciao! So we are now finally in the famous Valley of the Temples near Agrigento, which is up there. If you remember from the last series of cut out on the COVID disaster, we actually made a stop in Agrigento with a plan to visit the temples, but apparently it was not meant to be because my bike had broken down, so I had to skip it. So I made it a point to visit here. As you can see, I'll be showing you the famous temples and hopefully be able to give you some tips on how to best visit the place. But apparently, from what I figured out on the place, there are two parkings. The Valley of the Temples is pretty much a hill rather than a valley. So there are two parkings, one at the top of the valley or top of the hill and another one at the bottom of the hill, with an entrance each. However, the entrance at the bottom of the valley is closed because of COVID regulations, so one can only go from the top to the bottom. So ideally you park at the bottom and take a taxi ride, which costs 10 euros per car, so it depends on the number of people in it. It takes you to the top, you get the ticket and walk down. The ticket you can also do online. Today there weren't so much people for queuing because obviously all the COVID situation has had a big hit on tourism here, but slowly it's picking up. So enjoy the Temple of Hera. Now we're walking to the other temples. You can see behind me, these are the remains of the Greek walls. The Acropolis of here was pretty much fortified city actually. Sorry, but it's very hot and I believe for now at least I can remove my mask. So the mask is not required for visiting the temple, but obviously it's a good idea to keep it when certain temples are a bit crowded, but you need it anyway for the taxi ride, so it's a good idea to get your masks with you. Anyway, so obviously the valley of the temple was built by the Greeks, basically when the community of Sicily, which is further west, started to expand their ambitions in the area. One of the Greek communities decided to move further inland, and they set up this town. Actually they set up Agrigento, which is on the other hill, but this was presumably their holy area, their holy hill. So they set up this hill, and it's obviously much more extensive than Segesta and Selinunte, which are the other two main temples, because mainly they were competing for between them who was the best and the richest and the most powerful. So they made a majestic settlement over here. Anyway, what else to say? It's terribly hot here, so if you're here in summer, it's a good idea to get some water, unlike me, but I drank a bit before I came in. And I decided to get myself this hat because one, I needed one anyway for back in Malta, where it's also very hot, and since it's like the sun is scorching, it will protect a bit my head and not make me dizzy for the rest of the day. Okay, so basically what's written is that this is the Temple of Concordia, which signifies the harmony between the people. This is actually the best preserved temple in the Valley of the Temples. Reason being that at one point it was turned into a Christian basilica, so it was kept protected. But the whole Acropolis was built therefore around 400 AD. But after the fall of the Greeks to the Carthaginians and the Romans, basically the whole site was abandoned, and that is why it is now in ruins. But it's still beautiful. Okay, next. So I can show you here on the board how it used to be. This was the town of Agrigento, and this is the hill we are on. As you can see, there were walls all around the city, with the temples lying on the highest point over here. So anyway, let's continue. We have here the Temple of Zeus, which obviously is the most famous of the Greek gods, the god of gods. And this contraption behind me pretty much explains how they managed in those times to put all these massive stones together. As you can see, there's the temple there. Okay, and what's left of it? Unfortunately, only the Temple of Concordia still standing, really. This is how it used to look when it was still standing, so we should go this way. Ciao! So, managed to finish the visit. Time for a simple panino to keep us going. this will be my lunch. I want to keep moving towards the harbour. Time-wise, I confirmed I managed to do the visit of the valley on its own, not the museum, in just under an hour. So if you keep moving, but without running, an hour should be more than enough to get a taste there. Then obviously if you want to do all the detail, the guide and so on, presumably you would need between an hour and a half to 2 hours at least, and then you can take it relaxed. Probably a nice winter day would be even better, because you won't end up sweating. So, time to go, finish my lunch and hit the road. Ciao guys, as you can see we made it to Sampieri Beach. Anyway, this is the end of our trip to Sicily and the Aspromonte. It's been a great trail. If you have the opportunity, visit both Sicily and the Aspromonte. They're great rides. If you need any information, try to message me or on my Facebook page. I will be glad to help. But other than that, it's time to relax a bit and then go home. I won't show you the rest of the trip because it's just a 10-minute drive to Pozzallo and the ferry trip, which you've seen many times. So this is the end. Ciao, goodbye.